And welcome back. Well, our next guest is from Wisconsin and was raised in the Milwaukee Public Library because her mother was a librarian.
Such a cool story. Lindsay Starck returns home tonight in a special event at the library to celebrate her debut novel. This is it. It's called Noah's Wife and draws upon the motifs of the biblical flood story, but the book is not about religion. It's about community and the strength of the human spirit. And we've asked our favorite book reviewer, Carol Barrowman, to stick around because she has read this book and is going to help us chat about it a little bit. So, thumbs up or down? Do you like it or not?
Thumbs up. I loved it. I read it in one sitting, and I am all about finding allusions and symbolisms in books. And I thought it was just marvelous the way you took the Noah story and worked in so many wonderful little details about it. And to have a zoo be the animals, and have the animals running loose at one point in this flooding town. I laughed and I cried. It's wonderful. So I wanted to ask you, and ready for this, Tiffany?
Okay, I'm ready.
Biblical allusions. Tell us the genesis of your story.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Nice. I see what you did there.
Is there a revelation?
Tell us how the story started, because
she's like,
fabulous.
No, these are great. These are great. Well, I started it when I was in my early to mid-20s. A lot of my friends were beginning to pair off, so I was thinking about pairs and relationships. And that led me to the Noah story, and from there to Noah's Wife. And I was really wondering what sort of woman would follow her husband into an ark. He says he hears, right? He says he hears the voice of God. She's not hearing it. That's a lot of faith to place in your partner. So it's not a religious book, but it's a study of faith, the faith we have in other people, faith in relationships, faith in community, and that's where it started.
One of the things that I thought made it so appealing is that it almost is like little vignettes. And so I'm wondering that, you know, like you get all these, we jump around from character to character as we work our way through the book. Each kind of have their
spotlight.
Yeah, and so I wondered, did the book start as an idea for doing sort of these little character studies, and then you went from there?
Yeah, it's interesting that you asked that, actually. It started as a series of character sketches. I'm really interested in character and people. I'm always eavesdropping in coffee shops, listening to what people are saying. I'm that one. Be careful what you say. I'm always listening. So yeah, and I spent many, many years revising the book, and those revisions were to try to make these character sketches into something that had plot and tension and actually action happening. So,
well, I think you did that. I think you did that. You found that really nice balance between the two things. I always dominate these conversations.
Yeah,
sorry,
I have a question for you. That's okay, but Noah's wife in general, she never gets a name throughout this story, and that's part of this whole discovery of women, where you say, you know, a woman finding her own identity, and you're kind of through your 20s figuring out, you know, as these people are dropping off and finding a husband or finding whatever, are they also finding their own identity in there? Does she, I have not read the book, by the end, does she come to a name because she's found her own way or not?
She is never named. She remains unnamed at the end. And yeah, it's a study of how we define ourselves through our relationships as a wife, but also as a mother, as a child, as a sibling, as a friend. I think she's sort of still on her journey at the end of the book, so she isn't named. And also, logistically, I couldn't come up with a name that would have been good enough after 40 chapters of not being named to really hold us to expectations.
Awesome. But having read the book, the ending's perfect. It works great for the way everything is built up. I mean, and it's a little bit of a twist. It wasn't quite what I expected, but I was so glad that's where you went at the end.
Thank you.
I really was.
You also raised some interesting questions that I think a lot of people think of maybe but don't identify. You know, what makes a marriage work? Why do some friendships fall apart while others last for decades? What qualifies, what makes somebody a good mother, a good daughter, a good neighbor? You're recently married, just married for a year and a half. That question in particular, what makes a marriage work? And you're still fairly young and new in marriage, but what's your opinion about that? And how did you weave that into the book?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good question. When I started, I was writing about marriage in the abstract, and I finished the book a month after returning from my honeymoon. So my husband, Christopher, long-suffering, he's here today.
Long-suffering.
Yeah.
He's over there.
You should have him come up and answer some questions about that. But I don't know if I want to hear. I mean, communication, we talk about everything. I talked about drafts of the book with him. He read chapters. I think he grew very tired of my question, well, who is Noah's wife? As I was trying to figure her out. But he never told me to stop asking. He was just very supportive.
So I want to ask, are you an animal lover?
Yes.
All right. Do you have cages of them everywhere in your house?
We don't. We just have one dog, a golden retriever named Fenway.
Oh, Fenway.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
That is really cute. Your husband's from Boston?
He is.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's good.
And the whole theme there is kind of playing that supporting role. In your marriage, do you play a supporting role, or are you a lead character?
I hope so. Yeah, no, it's a mutually supportive relationship. I mean, I think those are the best kind.
Fantastic.
Obviously, we talk a lot.
We ran out of time, but closing thought or question,
My closing thought about the book was it's also got a lot of lovely humor in it.
Oh.
There's some really moments where you just giggle a little bit, as well as being poignant. So I think it's very accomplished for a debut.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Really
That's
nice
so
job.
kind of you to
Oh,
say.
And it comes
Nice,
out
Carol.
today.
And
And you've
she's
got a book
picky.
signing tonight.
I do.
This is exciting. So you can come and check out Noah's Wife. There's a talk, read, QA, and signing. Starts at 5:30 tonight at the Milwaukee Public Library, Central Library. You can learn more at lindsay.starck.com. That's where you can get Noah's Wife as well. But stop in tonight. There'll be some food. Again, talk, read, question, signing, all the good stuff.
It's
Thanks
cute
for
that
being
your
here.
husband's here, too.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I love it.
Yeah,
Great to
he's
meet
very
you.
sweet.
Thanks for being
Nice
here.
to meet you, too.
Congratulations on your book,
Thank
too.
you. Thanks
That's
for having
awesome. And
me.
thank you, Carol.
You're welcome. I'm going to have you sign mine before
Oh, I
we go.
will.
There you go.